Hi guys, and welcome to All About the Philippines. Now for me, I found my Filipino wife some 6 years ago, and we have had a fantastic life together, but unfortunately it doesn't work out the same for everybody. So that posed a question to me: is finding a Filipino wife worthwhile? Now, of course for me I'd say yes, but there's a lot of things to consider, and really maybe I'm a little bit lucky in that sense, because a lot of these things I never really considered before I started dating my wife. And really, not everybody might be up to what is required of going through the relationship process, and also then what comes after that if you're moving her to your country to be with you. So it's really good to be ahead of the ball game before you decide to even date a Filipina, to know what's to come should you decide to keep on pursuing a Filipina. So really, finding the right Filipina is time consuming, and I emphasize the word right, because there are plenty of Filipinas out there that you could find who would be interested in having a relationship with you, but are they the right Filipina for you? A lot of people will find their Filipina on places like Facebook groups, maybe even YouTube channels where you're talking in chat to people, or maybe in online dating sites. Now, in all those places, you still need to be very careful, because let's face it, in developing countries there are more scammers, because people are looking to make money to feed their kids, their family, whatever, themselves even. So there's opportunity there, and where there's opportunity, there's scammers. Now, scammers come in all different forms. You can have a scammer that's just interested in talking to you to try and get money out of you, never wanting to meet you. You can have someone who I don't necessarily call a scammer, but they might be wanting to improve their life. So they're willing to be with a man they don't really know, or maybe they don't even really like him that much, but they're willing to marry a man to improve their life and get where they want in life, which might be out of one country into another country, and then you may never see them again. That is a fact. That happens sometimes. If you're careful, you can avoid these sort of scammers or these sorts of people. What you're looking for would be a genuine relationship. So as I say, on those sites you can definitely find genuine Filipinas, but you have to do some searching, and you need to take a lot of time. So be prepared to put a lot of time into finding the right Filipina. I'll just quickly say that Christian Filipina I've found through members in our community here on YouTube have given a lot of good feedback about Christian Filipina, and a lot of the women there do seem to be rather genuine. So it could be a good starting place for a lot of you guys that are looking. So I would certainly suggest that you check out the link I've got in the description on Christian Filipina. Have a look. It's free to look. It's free to create an account. So, and there's thousands and thousands of online profiles. But back to the subject. So once you find the right Filipina and you've built up that relationship, you may want to go and meet her, which is a natural thing. And of course, before the relationship goes any further, you would need to do that. You would need to go to the Philippines and you would need to meet her. So here is where the costs start to come into it. Okay, the real costs start to come in. You might have some costs if you go and join up on Christian Filipina or similar dating sites, but now the real costs start to come into it. For you to get an aeroplane ticket to go to the Philippines to meet her, to have accommodation over there for the time you're there, whether it's 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, there's a cost. Living costs when you're there, that's all involved. So you might be looking at a few $1,000s straight up just there. So now it's time to bring her to your country and to see how she goes in your country. So there's another cost. So you're bringing her out. You've got to fill the paperwork in for the visa. You've got to be able to be her sponsor to prove that you've got the income to look after her while she's in your country. So the paperwork generally for tourist visas is not that hard to do, but you do have to have a fair bit of documentation also from her to prove that she's going to go home. So things like letter from her employer to say that she's still got a job when she comes back. If she's got children over there, you want to put that in a statement saying that she's got children. Of course, she's going to return to be with her children, and lots of things like that where you do need to get all your paperwork correct. You need to prove that you've got a regular income coming in, so while she's there you will take responsibility for her financially to make sure she's okay while she's in your country. That's how it works here in Australia anyway, guys, and that's what I can only go on how it works here in Australia, but I assume it would be very similar in many other countries as well. We assume she's come to your country, things are still going great, and you want to pursue this relationship more. Maybe now you're thinking, oh, I'd like to actually marry this woman, you know, we get on really well, so we might want to marry. So then we've got to think about, okay, what's the costs involved in the wedding to start with? You're going to have a wedding. Is it going to be an expensive wedding, a cheap wedding, in a registry, in a garden somewhere, in a church? So what costs are involved around that? Are you going to have a reception? Are you going to do it in the Philippines or in your country, or are you going to do it in both countries? They're all considerations and they all cost money. So not everybody has a lot of money. So these are the things you need to really consider prior to even dating a Filipino. So then you've married, you've done that, then now you might want to go for what we call here in Australia a partner visa. So that's to apply to have her come to your country as your wife, and that's quite a intense lot of paperwork to fill out and complete. I was able to do that myself, but it was very frustrating at times, and I had to be very careful that I was giving them exactly what they wanted in everything. There's statements from friends and family to say that this is a genuine relationship. You're talking about your finances, you're talking about your social activities together. They might want some photographs, some real photographs of you guys when you've met and all the way through to now with other friends and people, and it's quite the process, let me tell you. And it's a similar process on the fiance visa here in Australia too. So if you're not sure what they are, you can always check out the Australian immigration site and you'll find out there. But different countries, different processes and different names of visas for the US to what we have here as well. But all in all, it's just giving you the idea that when you're applying for these visas, there is a lot of paperwork involved and a lot of money involved. Now, to come to Australia on the partner visa, I believe it's getting close to the $10,000 now for that. So a lot of people don't realise that cost. When I brought my wife here to Australia and we married, and then I wanted to get the partner visa, back then when I did that in 2014, the end of 2014, it was something like $5,500. And now it's almost up to the 10,000 here in Australia. So that was a lot of money. And I wasn't prepared for that. I've got to admit, I didn't really even know how much it would cost. And I was quite shocked when I found out how much it cost. And I had to save up quite hard to get that money. So if you don't think you can do all this stuff on your own, then you might need to engage the services of a professional agent, an immigration agent. Now, there's more cost because depending on the agent you use, they're probably going to charge you anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 for a partner visa or a fiance visa, and they might even charge you around about $700 or $800 for a tourist visa. Now, the cost without using an agent for the tourist visa is around about 200 Australian dollars here in Australia, so they're not that expensive. But if you get an agent to do it, you're looking up around about $1,000. So bearing all these costs in mind, guys, as you decide whether or not you want to date a Filipino, and if you're committed to these expenses, the time and the paperwork involved to getting her finally into your country. Now, obviously for me, it was all worthwhile because I found a lovely Filipino. We've been together now for 6 years and we've got a great relationship. So for me, the harder part of the process was the paperwork, getting that filled in and saving the money. That was the hardest part of the process for me. I didn't have that much trouble with scammers and all that sort of thing in the early stages, and I was lucky enough to find my wife reasonably early on when I was just talking to people on Facebook. But as we said at the start of the video, it doesn't work out the same for everyone. So whether you want to get a Filipino to be in a relationship with, then be prepared for all this stuff that is to come afterwards so that it doesn't come as a shock. Okay guys, I hope this has helped. I hope it's given you some food for thought. If you've got anything else you'd like to add, put it in the comments below. We'd love to hear. Be respectful as always. Don't forget to hit the like button, give the big thumbs up, and of course share the video around with all your networks. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course hit that notification bell to get more videos. Okay guys, Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate all your support. Take care and bye for now.